All right, what's going on, my beautiful people out there on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all the other social media platforms you may find me. Today, we're going to take a really quick look at my workflow when it comes to using the Rodecaster Pro. Currently, I have it plugged into my iMac, and the audio is being recorded directly into Adobe Audition. But you can use pretty much any DAW, digital audio workstation, to achieve the same thing. So right now, what I have, if you can see the screen here, I have on track 1, which is the stereo mix. On track 2, I have where normally in this podcast preset would be the interviewer or the interviewee. So what I have on this track is the microphone 1, which I'm speaking on, which is the Rode Procaster. On track 2, I have the sound bed. And on track 4, I have the USB audio coming in. So if I wanted to play something on Skype or YouTube video or something off of the computer, it would record to that specific track. So if I add music, you will see that the music starts to record onto the assigned track. It'll also be embedded in the stereo mix. So if you're only interested in just recording your audio and you're not going to do anything else with it other than record your podcast and then put that podcast out there into the world, then you're good to go. There's nothing more you need to do. So at that point, you could bring your audio up. Now that's one of the advantages of having a fader system, where if you're interviewing someone and you want to cut away from that person, or if you want to mute them, you also have these buttons down here where you can solo and mute a specific channel. So if I mute a microphone, then no longer will that person be recorded into the stereo mix or even into their individual track mix. So that's a very good feature. Now, often you won't use that unless you are setting up a interview and you just want to be able to hear the person but not record them at the exact same time. That's a perfect feature for that, or use for that feature. So at this point, what I have set up here is microphone 1. On microphone 1, I have it set at Unity. I have some bed music playing through the sound pads, and like I showed you before, I can raise the volume of that at any time. And then fade it out. So if you're setting up a show and you're new and you just want to do something very simple, where many the new platforms have something similar to this. After you set up and record your audio, you can add audio in the beginning or over the entire track or at the end. So if you wanted to, say for instance, run a promo. So if you have a promo that you want to run during your podcast, you're more than welcome to record that and then save that into one of these sound pads, and then you would be able to replay that audio at any time. So right here, if you're looking at the green tab that says intro, that is generally the intro for my podcast. I don't use it that often anymore unless it's a specific podcast, but I'll let you hear what that sounds like if I play that.
And welcome to the Pod One Media Podcast. Pod One Media is your one-stop source for tech news, marketing tips, and interviews with Houston's leading business owners.
And just as easily, I can fade that out. And with one touch of a button, I can stop it from playing. So again, you could record an interview with someone, or if you are on Anchor as an example, and you're using the message feature, you could go to Anchor and retrieve those files. And if you wanted to, well, if you're using a DAW, you could just drop it into one of your tracks. But if for some reason you wanted to use it during a live show or a recorded podcast, you could then take that audio and then drop it onto one of these sound beds. And you have quite a few of these that you can go through, and you can save the audio track right onto one of the sound beds. And then from the Rodecaster itself, you just go into your sounds, and then you would be able to go over to whatever sound it is that you want to play. So like right now, I've switched to bank 2. So if I play the sound on bank 2, Well, I first have to turn it back up, turn the fader back up. So whether it's, let's see what else we have here. So hopefully you guys are getting the idea. So this is a very, very useful tool if you are starting out as a podcaster or you have some background as a podcaster and you're thinking, this is exactly what I was looking for, an all-in-one solution to be able to record my podcast and bring in guests. So the other option that you have utilizing this system is that with a simple TRRS cable, you can connect this directly to a smartphone, and then you could plug your smartphone in and you could easily receive a call. Or you could do it the other way, is to use Bluetooth, where you could connect your phone via Bluetooth. Whether it's an Android phone or iPhone, it doesn't really matter. You just hit the little Bluetooth button and it will pair with that device. I've also paired my iPad with it as well. Sometimes I'll use that with some of the little DJ apps, and I'll create new sound files and things like that I want to utilize during a potential podcast or something going forward. But this video today is just a basic rundown to show you exactly how this works. So as you're looking at my screen here really quick, you're seeing I'm on microphone 1. I can go to my my high pass filter. I can go over to my noise gate, which I have on right now. I can go over to the de-esser. All of the same things, the controls that I would normally have if I was touching just the physical device itself, now they're at fingertips right here on the screen as well. So if I want to go over to the compressor, which I don't have turned on right now, but if I turned on the compressor, you may hear what it sounds like. So when I kick in the compressor, you start to hear it cuts out a little bit, because right now I have the ratio at 3:1. So if I brought the ratio back down to, let's say, 2:1, it won't cut out as frequently, but you do hear it cut out at times. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So if you're in an environment where there's a lot of noise, that's a part of what your noise gate does, but the compressor does similar effects. So it will help you get better audio. But generally what I do is I leave this off and I record my audio naturally into the DAW, as well as I'm recording it into the Rodecaster itself. And then if I decide that there is too much background noise, or the noise is enough that it will distract from the audio file itself, then I'll just simply enough go into my DAW and I will then remove the noise. It's a very simple process of using something like Adobe Audition, or if you're using, for instance, if you're using a free app, DAW like Audacity. Reaper is another really good one, and I've talked about these apps before, as well as Hindenburg. It's a little pricey, but it gets the job done. It's very automated. So it really just depends on what you're trying to do. So I'm seeing on a lot of the forums, especially on Facebook, I see question after question after question of what can work. Yes, you can record a podcast on your smartphone. Yes, you can buy an inexpensive audio recorder. Or you can record directly into your computer with a USB microphone. All of these are options, so don't just completely dismiss them. The main reason why I invested into these Rodecasters is that I had client projects that I had planned for this year, and we know what's going on, so that's kind of slowed that down a little bit. But I do see going forward with a lot of my clients that we shoot corporate event things for, where it's going to be photography, videography. There's a lot of conference conversations, so we can set up panels where they can speak, give them multiple microphones, they can record that content. And you can do basically the same thing if you wanted to have a guest or a co-host or something like that, or even have guests call in. So with this one device, you can do all of those things. There goes my dog again. But you can do all of those things in one device, and it's very compact. Now, there are other new devices coming out on the market that will be slightly, they're in a better price range, depending on what it is you're trying to do. So one of them is the new Zoom H8. You can Google that and get some information on it. I don't think anyone has any in stock yet, but you can easily find the Rodecaster. I hate Rode's naming system. You can find the Rodecaster Pro on most platforms. So whether it's Adorama, you can find it on B&H. I've even found it, I believe I found it on Amazon. I'm not sure. But you can also find it at Guitar Center. So there are a number of different ways that you can find this device. So in a nutshell, if you're looking to produce quality content and you're looking to make it user friendly, where you can have all of the features that you would normally associate as you grow as a podcaster, you want music, you want sound effects, whatever it is, no problem. So you can go in and say, okay, well, I want, really just to have, a little music playing in the background. Boom, there you go. And like I said, you can use that as your intro music, let it come right in. And then at some point you start speaking, and then you can fade it down. If you don't want to fade it completely out, you can just kind of let it kind of play as a little audio bed in the background, and it's a win. Now, many podcasters, I've been watching and listening to a lot of shows over the last month or so, and I noticed that most are just very, spoken word type of environments, unless they're doing something like a reading or something dramatic. So that's going to be more focused on the individual's conversation, whatever the topic is of the day, no matter what it is they're talking about. So that's going to be their direction. But if you're trying to create something creative and you want to have all of these other features, as you grow as a podcaster, you will find sponsors. People will want to sponsor your shows. You can pre-record things that you can just drop anytime you want to, and boom, it's just in there. So, if this is something that you guys would be interested in, please, leave comments or questions in the comment section, and I will do my best to answer them. And in some cases, if the question is very complex, I will do my best to try and create a video that may explain that. And, I think you guys as talent, as creators, this is going to be a powerful tool for you. I'm not sponsored by Rode. I'm not sponsored by any of the hardware or software that you may see or hear about in one of my podcasts. I'm just telling you guys what I see that works and what has worked for me. It may not work for everyone, so your mileage may vary, but what it gives you is a platform that you can engineer, that you can modify, that you can grow with. So that's the key. All right, guys, I'm going to bring this podcast to an halt, to an end, to a completion. I hope you guys are staying safe, washing your hands, maintaining your distance as best you can. I know we have lives and we want to get back to those as soon as possible. So let's do whatever we can to increase that so we can get back to our everyday lives, the lives that seem like it was so long ago. But I think we'll get back there pretty soon. It won't be next week, but it will be in our near future. So until then, guys, take care of yourselves. Peace, love, and I will catch you guys in the next podcast. It's been your boy Rome. I'm out.